Tuesday.
Hello everybody, welcome to episode 69 of Kayfabe with Keaton, and what a special episode this is going to be today. Today I'm interviewing one of the most promising Northern Irish wrestlers to date right now, without a doubt, the best on this island. This is none other than the Irish Grappler, John McCann, and we're going to hear directly from him after NIPW studio taping episode 1, which was an absolutely crazy night after John McCann got hit with a chair and attacked by the new gen, I think they're called, of NIPW, and what a crazy night that was. Also, we're going to hear what a great episode this is going to be, hearing about John McCann's stories in SmackDown and all stories like this. So make sure to stay tuned for the whole episode today, because this is going to be a very special one. But without further ado, let's bring him in, directly hearing from him after just being hit up the head with a chair by this new gen. Let's hear from John McCann.
Hello, Keaton. How are you?
All good. How are you after that ambush yesterday?
Bit of a sore head. Geordie boys partly to do with that, and you know the other half. I was hit over the head with the chair, and things didn't go my way last night. Didn't go away for Stevie. Didn't go for anybody. Any of the pillars of NIPW. We're getting mad today, but we've got through it.
Absolutely, and you came in to save with this new gen. Who are these people, and why do you think they came to NIPW, and what's happening?
The reason I think they're so dangerous, I'm just going to start with that, is because we have taught them literally everything that we know. They know everything. they are the next generation. They are the next generation of fantastic wrestlers. These are people who have devoted their life to wrestling just like us. They know everything about wrestling. And now that our jobs are no longer safe, I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. And like this new team here, and even just apart from that, you went into a match against Jordy Boy, and I think one of the best matches on that show. But every match on that show was amazing, top to bottom. I think. But yeah, you went in there against one of the best, Jordy Boy, and now we're seeing a full new side of John McCann. Before we knew the arrogant, cocky Irish grappler. Now we're seeing a new side to you. So what's that about?
Well, you see, Keaton, I found a complete new love for wrestling. Following my big TV debut, I found that there was a lot of people that messaged me and said how much they were proud of me and they were happy to see me, and I was an inspiration to people, and that really clicked in my head. It gave me a day to sit there and realize that no, I'm not just here for myself, I'm here for people outside of just me. I'm here to inspire people, I'm here to make people happy. You know what? Sometimes we go through some bad times, but I feel like that was just a really bad rut for me, and I rediscovered my love of fans and wrestling and the appreciation of people.
And what else made you rediscover that? Was there a certain moment that made you rediscover your appreciation?
Well, it was being in the ring at WWE, going from there to near enough a day and a bit later, NIPW, and the amount of people that had said to me how happy they were to see me there and see someone from this island make it, that's the moment that changed everything for me.
Absolutely. Like when you see people who've been on WWE from Northern Ireland, there's been Tucker, there's been Fit Finlay, who's obviously the most famous one from Northern Ireland, and Big Davo, aka Killian Dane. They're the three that most people would know that made it to WWE. And you're at the age of 19, you're already getting into WWE. You're from NIPW, the place where each and every one of us, we're built. Each and every one of us, have trained. So even that, that's so inspirational. Especially for a lot of people watching who've known you from being watching you wrestle in front of 60 people to going on to SmackDown in the OT wrestling in front of I think over 20,000 people. So that's just absolutely incredible to see, and that kind of journey, because no one else had really seen anybody from Northern Ireland, and now you doing that at the age of 19, even if it is just extra work, is incredible. So yeah, no wonder people are so inspired.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, for me, after doing that, I always think, you know what? I came from the middle of nowhere. I came from an area in Belfast that people aren't really known for doing anything. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. It's not about where you grow up. It's not about what you do with your life. It's what you do today that changes the rest of your life. I made a decision 2 days prior to go and do that. I got a call while I was sitting in, what was it? I was sitting in tech. I was filming a movie because that's the course that I do. And I got a call. They said, "Can you make it to London?" And I said, "Yes, yes, I can." Booked the flights, booked my travel, made it there. Scariest experience of my life, but something that changed minds for the rest.
Absolutely, and you've came so far from that. But how did that all start for you? Because not many people know. Like you obviously went to the WWE and you're on SmackDown. But how did it all start for you? Obviously, it didn't just come out of nowhere.
No, it didn't. There are certain people that really provided that opportunity for me to spread my wings and fly. Verbally, I'd say Nathan Hoy was the person that really gave me everything in wrestling. He's the person that has given me my first day in wrestling, and he has also given me all my contacts that I have. Nathan Hoy, from the start of my career, had said to me that you're going to make it far, and he also said to me, if you stick at it, and if you have tunnel vision, and you want this, you will get it. And I said to him, you know what? Everything that you have said, I'm going to prove you right on. And not only was that a rewarding moment for me, that was also a very rewarding moment for Nathan to see someone from his dojo come so far. I know it's not the end of my journey, and I know it's not the end of the journey for NIPW. As you know, that we had Raw as well on the Monday following that. Unfortunately, not everybody got used, or anybody in that matter. But we were invited, and that's the most important thing. Being invited to an event at that scale with the company that we've only been running this place for 5 years. Think about 10 years down the line, the amount of people that we will have that have worked in promotions around the globe, on television, outside of NIPW, that brings NIPW back. It's immense to just think of.
Yeah, like, and even what I sort of meant there by that question was like how you first got into like getting with WWE, but even working with Nathan. But no, it was a good answer though, because even working with Nathan, like Nathan's one of the great. Well, he's the best coach in Northern Ireland, and you know some of the stuff that he teaches you, like he really simply breaks it down and stuff. And he is one of them coaches who can do that without even, you know, he doesn't get frustrated or anything like that. So he's one of them kind of amazing coaches. So obviously Nathan has kind of brought you. Obviously you've done it yourself, but Nathan has helped you a lot throughout this journey. So what's the best piece of advice Nathan has ever taught you that you've carried on to this day?
Well, I wouldn't really say it's advice. I would say though it's something that he would always tell me in training. Less advice, but more of just something to inspire me. He'd always tell me, when people back you, they're backing you for a reason. When people believe in you, they believe in the fact that you can do something because they see something in you. People don't just back people off of nothing. People know why they're backing someone, and when you see that, there's a reason for it.
Absolutely, and even like even when you've seen, you know, some people have maybe doubted you, some people haven't. How does it feel to prove them kind of people wrong?
I think it's fantastic. So, like for me, to know how many people have said, "No, you can't be on the show with this person. You'll never work a WWE guy. You'll never ever get outside of NIPW. No one knows who you are." See the amount of times I've been told that, as well as that from people in my school, outside of school, people who have just walked up to me and said, "You know what? Why are you doing wrestling? What's the point in wrestling? Isn't that just like a fake sport that no one does anything with? And all these guys just go and do it, and it's crap." To hear that and go and do something so magnificent and so out there to a point where it did prove them all wrong, it was a very glorifying experience. It was something that I was not expecting. But also the amount of people that went back on themselves and said, "Oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm really happy that you went and did that." The amount of people in school that said that I'd never do anything in wrestling still congratulating me. That was the moment that really turned it around. It made me feel really happy because I knew in my heart of hearts that my dream was always going to be made for me. I always knew I wanted to achieve this.
Yeah, and when you said there, you've always knew. Like, at what point was it did you saw this and just thought to yourself, "I'm going to be a WWE. I'm going to be a WWE."
Well, it was never like a switch for me. Like I started wrestling, not even started wrestling. I started watching wrestling because of my cousins. Some of them would watch it, and then they all kind of fell out of it. But it stuck with me. So for some reason, I don't really understand why it stuck with me. But through it sticking, I found it as like a comfort. It was somewhere for me I could go outside of real life and just experience superheroes near enough.
Mm.
It was something that was so different, and it just stuck with me. I didn't really want to make it to any other company because I'd never really experienced any other company. Like WWE was always the one thing that was on my television on Saturday night, a Friday night, a Monday night, every single time, because that was all we could afford, and I was happy with that. I loved just watching like Daniel Bryan, Triple H, Rollins, all these people who I grew up with, and also now have shared bits and pieces of backstage with certain ones who have watched.
Yeah, and I get what you mean there, seeing them as superheroes, because you know, like when you go in and you watch these people on television, you know, every week, you know, you see them on Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and you know, when you get to meet them, you do sort of realize, and I hear other people saying this, that they're just guys, but like when you're that age, you know, you do see them as superheroes. I know for me, I used to always see John Cena as like superhuman. You know, you didn't see him as like a real person. You just saw him as superhuman who could do anything. And I suppose what was it
Absolutely.
like being able to be in there with people who you saw as superheroes to then just being able to have a normal chat with them as if you're just another guy, you know, part of the roster.
It didn't really hit me until I was standing quite literally face to face with one of my idols. I love Randy Orton a bit. I think he is one of the coolest wrestlers of all time, but also seeing how respectful he was at the level that he's at the moment, that made me just rethink of independent wrestling. Like coming back to NIPW, seeing the people backstage, seeing the people who are hungry for opportunity, seeing that also in them was something that made me go, you know what? Sometimes the superstars aren't on TV. Sometimes they're back there. Sometimes they're just waiting to get that one opportunity on television, and that's what makes a superstar for me. No longer like I always thought of like the TV guys as superstars, but now my opinion on that has fully switched.
Yeah, absolutely. Like even if you do look at the other people who are recognized as superstars who didn't really get the chances that they deserved. You know, like Dolph Ziggler, absolutely incredible mid carder, but he never really got to the top. Well, he did. He became a world champion, but what I'm saying is like he didn't really. It's hard to explain. He didn't get like that kind of level that most of the other guys would have got it. But then there's other wrestlers, you know, who were underutilized and underrated, and them kind of guys were the real wrestlers instead of people who did get to the top. Not no offense to them guys, but you know there was a lot of guys who should have been at the top who didn't get to the top. But yeah, the people I agree with you, the people who work so hard on independent wrestling and work a lot harder than people who get paychecks are the real heroes there. I think.
Absolutely. See the people that we see backstage. I know 100% there is a good chunk of those lads that are going to make it someday. 100%.
Yeah, and you've been a coach for a while. A lot of people probably don't know that you've been a coach from I don't know what age, maybe about 15.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for kids training, you trained me, and you've alongside with at the very start, Chris Mercer. This photo here, it
Yeah,
shows
absolutely.
Ricky, Nathan, and Chris. It just shows what kind of journey you've been on. From the
Uh,
start, training the kids. At that age to being able to be on WWE. So, what is your main technique for coaching people, and how do you realize that these guys are going to make it?
Um, for me, it's not always about what you do within the confines of the professional wrestling ring. That's not what makes someone who's going to make it. See, when I see someone who reaches out to promoters constantly, see if I see someone who is asking me questions, wanting to learn further about wrestling rather than just body slams and drop kicks, someone that wants to learn further than that will always make it. And that's what makes a superstar. Someone that is going doing press conferences, someone that's doing like what we did with that press conference in Belfast
Sure,
City
Olivia.
Centre. We had that, and we had a lot of people doing that. And then on top of that, like we have had events where we have went and seen children in hospice. We have had the opportunity to go and have events like that. That outside of that, wrestling is what makes a superstar. And that's what makes me think someone's going to be a superstar. When someone offers to do that, someone goes beyond for this company or any other company they're working for.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, especially for indie wrestling, that's what makes indie wrestling so good. People who are in WWE, I'm sure a lot of them do it for the love of wrestling, but some of them obviously do it just for a paycheck. A lot of them at that age would just be doing it for a paycheck. And indie
Mm-hmm.
wrestling, you don't really get all that much money, if any. And people do it for the love of wrestling. I think that's what it should be about, and not being involved with it, and people doing that. I think that they're the people who really deserve that kind of respect, and they don't always get it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then I'm gonna bring in some comments here. We got Andy Walker says evening Keaton. Yeah, hello Andy. Thanks very much for tuning in. Andy Walker follows up with a question asking, when John started wrestling, what made him pick the Irish Grappler as his superstar name?
So I had some inspirations behind that. For one, like my gear is designed. Who is it? Finley.
Yeah,
But Finley is my main inspiration. Anything that's Irish grappler related, like my gear is inspired by it. The gimmick is inspired by it because I loved how he moved in the ring. I loved how he acted in the ring. He was vicious. He was something so different at the time that I thought, you know what, no one's doing this at the moment here, and everybody has adapted that Irish gimmick. Like we have seen it through Sheamus, we've seen it through JD McDonagh, Finn Balor, you name it, they've done the Irish gimmick at some point. But I wanted to try it. I wanted to try put a spin on it that was slightly Finley-esque. Someone said also recently that I remind them of a bit of MVP and Finley if they had if they combined to make a wrestler.
yeah, I see what you mean. Like, trying to mix different characters. But Finlay was, you're right about that. Finlay was one of them guys who was doing stuff that nobody really done at the time. Even like on his debut, I think it was against Matt Hardy. He Matt Hardy tried to do a basement drop kick from the ring, and he pulled the ring apron up like a simple move. That's not shouldn't really be recognized all that much, but the commentators were like, I've never seen anything like this before and all this, and it was like that
One
kind
thing I
of
want to point out about that match, by the way, Keaton, is my favourite finish in wrestling comes from that match. So
oh
Matt
yeah
Hardy disqualified, or who is it? Finlay gets disqualified, so it is within the match, and it's something very small. Like I think he holds onto the ropes for like 5 seconds. Referee counts him out. You're disqualified. He turns around the referee and he goes, "You're going to disqualify me for that?" And then grabs Matt Hardy, puts his head on the steps, and stomps it. I think that was brilliant.
yeah, and
It was
and
this.
even yeah, and even like them small things in the ring, Finlay even just putting up that apron. I thought when I looked at that, I thought that was amazing. Even though it was such a small thing, the commentators were so impressed by it. And I suppose like even when you get in the ring, you do stuff that nobody else really does. Like there's someone who would have a style, right? And if it was Ricochet or Will Ospreay, they would have the kind of high flying style. And if they don't have the high flying style, they would have you know technical style, and it would mix between them two different styles. Nobody will really have the not one person will have both the same things. But the thing is with you can do high flying wrestling, technical wrestling, but you don't always do it. You kind of have a mix between it, and that's sort of like what Finlay done. Finlay didn't have like a specific thing. He was doing stuff that nobody else was really doing at the time. So I think
Absolutely.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's my inspiration. That's the reason why I wrestle the way I do. I know the Finley wasn't doing backflips, and I know for certain he wasn't doing 450s. But still, that his matches were always different every single time you seen him step into the ring. That Matt Hardy match was completely different to say him versus Bobby Lashley or him versus The Undertaker, which I've watched recently.
Yeah, Finley always he would have done something different a lot of the times. I'm gonna get to another one of our questions here. Jesse Jackhammer says hi Keaton. So anyone watching here, remember to subscribe to 1 Minute Wrestler with Jesse Jackhammer. Um Makes some very good wrestling videos. Then John Whiteside says, tell us your thoughts about the first ever time you saw John McCann in action. Did you think he'd be this good? Honestly, no, I didn't really think it'd be as good as you actually are now. At that age, you were already doing stuff that nobody had ever really seen before. But no, I didn't think you would have got this far. To be honest with you, in a good way. It's a compliment that you got that far. Um, Penny
Brilliant.
says, Penny, a member of our YouTube channel here, says, "Hey John,"
Hello.
and just someone talking to someone, and then oh, we'll have someone coming in here. Sean Crossan, former co-host of this channel, says, "My hero, John McCann. It was such a privilege training with John as he prepared me for my final match last month. John is a franchise wrestler, IMO, and a real class act."
You see, working with Crusher on the lead up to that match was something that I took very seriously, and I very much appreciated the opportunity to prepare him in whatever small amount of time I got to spend with Crusher. I valued it, and I appreciated the fact that he was the one that chose me to come down and spend time, work in the ring with him. I appreciate it a lot. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, Sean's last match. I think it was pretty amazing. A lot of it was down to you, and a lot of it was down to Crusher as well. Some of the stuff that he was like getting in shape for that match. So
Yeah,
what?
absolutely. There was a lot of factors in that match that pulled it off fantastically. I think Sean did a fantastic match. I think Ricky pulled it off fantastically. I think the two of them very much made it match of the night, and I enjoyed watching it back also.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It did have match of the night because of the build up as well. The build up of that match was just incredible. Like some of the stuff that Crusher was able to do at that age. Like anyone could have done anything in any other matches, but if Crusher just done the slightest thing, people would be like, I didn't expect someone to do that at that age, and he's just incredible. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And you know what? Crusher could have just left it at, I'll do my 5 moves of doom. But no, he didn't. He went back into his arsenal, and he also made some new things come through. Like, I love just seeing someone who's so interested in professional wrestling and actually wants the match to be good. I love seeing that in people. Sean
Yeah,
has that.
absolutely. And then Millie Molly asks John, can you remember Keaton's early days at NXT?
Yes, I can. One of my favourite memories of NXT, to be honest, is I came to the show for the first time, and Nathan turned around to me and he said, "Look, there's a YouTuber over there." I was like, "What?" He's like, "There's a YouTuber. He's here to like take interviews and stuff like that." And I was like, "Nathan, make sure that I'm doing this. Like, I want to be also in an interview." And he said to me, "Okay, right, no worries. So it's going to be you, Calvin Killshaw, and Tommy Gold." What a name, Tommy Gold. So he sends me out. Us three are sitting there, and you ask me, "Do you think you can beat Calvin Killshaw?" I remember looking at Calvin and going, "I don't know what to say here. I have no idea what to say." I was just completely struck by the fact that you were sitting there doing YouTube videos and recording the matches, recording the shows. I just thought it was insane because I'd never seen someone your age so interested in wrestling. Like it reminded me a lot of myself, especially when you started training as well. That was the tipping point for me to go, you know what? I think Keaton's probably going to end up having the match. I think that.
Yeah, like that's really good to hear. But I didn't even know that you wanted to be in that video so bad. I thought you were just kind of chosen to do that.
No, absolutely. Like I rewatched that video probably about 100 times because I was just so proud of the fact that I'd done something in wrestling. Up until that point, I hadn't really done anything. I won a Rumble. It was kind of cool. Um, I wrestled Nathan, which was fantastic for my first ever match in wrestling. I wrestled for a title, which not a lot of people get to do. But for me, I hadn't done anything that was online. I hadn't seen anything of myself online, and to see myself on someone else's YouTube channel, yeah, that was very eye opening for me. And now obviously I've got so many people who might post about me. I don't have an awful lot, but I have people who post about me or text me or repost my stuff. But that first one, I will always remember and appreciate it because that was the first person that ever actually came to me and said, "Yeah, do you want to be in this?"
That's awesome. And even and you know now we're sitting here. Like I think it's really cool that now we're sitting here at the start. You were what age were you about 15, 14? 15. Like you were that age. I was about 10. Now we're sitting here. You've just been on SmackDown. I'm now running Kayfabe with Keaton, and we're kind of living it back again. I think that's pretty cool.
It is insane. You've had over, isn't it about 2 matches now?
Yeah, yeah.
You've had 2 matches in front of a live audience. You've killed it twice. I've wrestled for the biggest, well, I've been on TV for the biggest company on the planet. And that is just like another stepping stone. Like what I can do, you can also do. You're going to go and do things that I've done. And you'll find yourself at my age, probably have done it twice or 3 times already. If you stick
Yeah.
at it.
Thanks. And then we've got another quick comment here from Andy Walker. It's a bit long, but because it's not showing up on the screen, but I'll read the rest of it out first. So, when I was in Benidorm before I joined NIPW, I got a video sent to me of John, and I was like, "Whoa, I want to join and be in the ring with Grappler." Now he trains me, and he gets to work with. Now he trains me, and he trains me, and he gets to work with. Unfortunately, right now, the comments too long, so if you want to read in the rest of it, Andy. But anyway, he follows up with another question. Can you remember getting on the poster for the first time?
Can I remember getting on a poster for the first time? Yes, I actually can. Because I printed the poster out and I showed it to my mum. And I was all like, "Mum, I'm on a poster." And she was like, "That's class." And then proceeded to leave me. No, I sat there with a poster in my hands and I was like, "This is weird to be on a poster." I've seen so many of my friends get on posters. I've seen like a multitude of people I've worked backstage with on posters, but to see myself on it for the very first time, it was really, really nice. It was nice. I loved it. Felt like a star.
Awesome. I also just want to correct what I said there. When I said there, I wanted write something else back in. What I meant to say was, he says, and he's great to work with. I said he gets to work with, but I meant he's great to work with. So Andy already finished that sentence. Just want to make that clear. So anyway, we've now talked about you've been on WWE on SmackDown. So I want to ask you more about doing this. So you got to wrestle in your hometown, I think in the Falls for I can't actually pronounce it, but it was a festival.
Taylor and football.
Yeah, okay. So you're at that and you got to wrestle for Titanic Wrestling. What was it like wrestling in your hometown after all you had achieved and being able to go back there?
I hope this clips it gets to Titanic Wrestling at some point. That match, that date was so surreal to me. Up until that point, I'd wrestled everywhere but Belfast. I hadn't wrestled in Belfast. It wasn't the Phelan Football was the first one to wrestle in Belfast. I had previously worked for Sean McGilligan in the Irish School. I think I said that right. But I worked in the Irish School for Titanic, and then I also did the festival. And to be able to do that, it was immense for me because I love the culture in my area. I love the culture around Belfast. I love the different cultures I see around Belfast, but to be able to have done that in an area that I have seen so often and moved down the road the glider in was very surreal. And every time I go down the glider, I'll always look up and I'll always look at it and I'll go, I wrestled there. I'm like, I love wrestling for all the companies that I work for, but that was a very special moment for me. Like, I love wrestling for Titanic. I love wrestling for NIPW. I love wrestling for CAW. I love wrestling everywhere I wrestle. OTT. I love everywhere, but there's moments in wrestling that really define my career, and I really appreciate that night. I also
Yeah,
love
probably.
going to wrestle.
Yeah, probably meant a lot being able to wrestle in your hometown and stuff. Jolene asks, can John show us how to do a moonsault?
Joe, I hate you, but you do it.
Completely up to you. Might as well.
Sorry. Joe, because I hate you. So,
Go.
table run. Joe, for the first time on a Keaton podcast, this is a moonsault.
Awesome.
Beat that. It's probably the maddest thing you've ever seen on Kayfabe.
No, I have to admit, that is the maddest thing we've ever seen on Kayfabe with Keaton there. And
Yep.
trust me, that'll be clipped in the future.
That will be clipped in the future. Something I'm going to look back on. Brilliant.
Oh, Jolene follows up with another comment here. Still didn't hit anybody.
Jolene, I'm going to fire your ass twice.
So now that we've caught up on that, you doing the moonsault. We'll talk more about there, like you being on WWE and get hopefully you can see you there. If you don't know who John McCann is, it's the one in front of Cody Rhodes holding him back. It's a great shot of him. So you've been on WWE, but what was it like backstage? Getting to meet some of these guys. At Raw and SmackDown. Do you have any memorable moments with different wrestlers?
My most memorable moment for that entire time was, it wasn't even with one of the guys backstage that was working that night. Well, he was. You might see him just right in front of me there. Charles Crowley.
Yeah, I know.
I said to Charles, it's really insane how nice these people are to us. Like Randy was lovely, Trick Williams was lovely, all these guys who you see go out and have these fantastic matches in front of these thousands and thousands and thousands of people are so down to earth. And I said to him, does this make you feel any different about indie wrestling? And he said, yes, it does. It makes me want to go back and be nice to the people that I've met. It makes me want to go back and make the place better. Not that I haven't done that, but it just makes me think of it that bit more, that someone at this level is so respectful, so nice, so kind, so caring, so appreciative of seeing new people come through their doors. It opened his eyes, and it also opened mine. I was really appreciative of the fact that we were so well taken care of to a degree that I have never had before.
Yeah, that's actually really, really cool. And a lot of people say that the catering in WWE is really good. So what was the catering like?
Skip everything, go for the banoffee pie. That's what I was told from the day that I got there on SmackDown, and then I went for the banoffee pie, and it wasn't the right banoffee pie until Monday, and then I got there on Monday, and they had the banoffee pie. one of the nicest pies I've ever had in my life. You know what? I'd see if I could eat anything for the rest of my life, I'd have that banoffee pie every day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, you name it, I'd have it. Snack, banoffee pie.
You heard it here first. If we're going to see John McCann on WWE, he's going to have a pie every single day before going into a show. That's
You know?
awesome. So even getting on the WWE backstage and stuff, who were some of the other guys that you met backstage, and what were some of the conversations like that you had with your heroes?
I'm going to give you one that's really, really different but nice. I really enjoyed getting to meet Stu, the cameraman. Stu has been known for
Yeah,
doing a
the John
lot
Cena
of
guy.
in Cena's entrance. He's been known to do a lot of the work for WWE. He has been with the WWE for numerous years. Like he's been there for a very long time. But Stu was so nice. He was very, very nice to me. Someone who like I love the production of a company of that scale. I love looking into that. Like I love the rings. I like to learn about the production, the rings, the setups. I've watched them on end. Like that was my part of the experience that I wanted to know the most. What was it like to set up a WWE show? Who are the people that drive it? And Stu is one of those people, and he was very inspirational because that man is running that show 3 hours. I think it was 3 hours, and he was on his feet the entire time, going back and forth from Gorilla, backstage, getting camera, getting set up, talking to the rest of the camera guys as well. Also, another one that I really thought was amazing was I got to work with the referee that worked in Cena's final match, and I thought it was amazing that he was calling things to me. He was telling me like, "Here's your cadence. We're about to go off live television. We're about to go to commercial." And to just have that conversation, I hadn't met him earlier in the day, but to have that conversation with me, that was surreal.
Yeah, awesome. Like them kind of them kind of moments are the moments you don't want to forget. And even Stu, the cameraman, and the guy who refereed John Cena's last match, it just goes on through generations. Like Stu, the cameraman, he's probably the most famous cameraman in WWE just because he's chased John Cena so many times running down. Um,
Yeah,
so everybody knows him. So getting them kind of experiences is probably incredible for you.
that's
But
it.
how did you feel after, like the day after being able to go in, just realizing this is what you've done?
I think it was gratifying knowing that I'd done it, but it also gave me an incentive to do more. I'd done that. I'd seen the pictures. I was flicking through socials. I had messages on messages on messages of people telling me how happy they were to see me. I had so many people rooting for me to a point where it gave me more of a drive. I want to get there even more now because someone of the likes of even my partner, my girlfriend, messaged me and she was like, "My family have seen you on live television now. They have seen you on Netflix. Do you know how big that is?" And I said, "I do." That's that's something that I want to relive.
Yeah, and that's one of them life experiences you'll never forget. Like the fact that you get to tell your grandkids that you were on WWE is pretty incredible. Your future grandkids.
Yeah, not that old yet, Keaton. Not that old yet.
I'm gonna bring in some more of our comments here, but I need to bring in this one first. This one's very cool. Literally listen to this on the car on the way home from work. I had to pull the car over just to witness it. Moonsault.
Oh yeah, no, the moonsault is, it's brings in the fanfare, it's brilliant. It's good.
Uh, Darren Whitehead asks, how many pairs of glasses have you went through?
I'm on count now on five. Five glasses, three lens. It's horrible.
I know every time you see you always come out with your glasses on. You always have to put it on the turnbuckles.
One thing that a lot of people haven't really noticed, I keep doing it by accident. So sometimes I'll wear like my coat for like my entrances and stuff like that. But I'll accidentally put my phone in the pocket or put it in my knee pad, and then I'll be like mid entrance and then realize that it's there. And I'll be like, "Johnny, can you get this to the back?" And he'll be, "I don't know." And then he'll take it off.
Then Mary Molly says, are you in the dojo virtually every day, John? You must do some amount of training.
Yes, I'm constantly up in the dojo. For example, I was up 2 days ago to paint the walls in here and help Nathan with that. Nathan was the main one that was painting the walls, but I was going in there making sure that all the white spots had been filled in, and we did that until like 1 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's not always training at the dojo, but it's driving this place to look better, be better. I am someone that wants to see this place succeed. I also want to see myself succeed, so that's why I'm also in the dojo so often. But I also want to see this place succeed, and that's the reason why I spend so much time here. Like I'm here after Monday to Sunday every week as much as I can.
And like, you're so dedicated to we see you in the kids class, Monday to we'll see you on Monday, and sometimes we'll see you on Saturday as well. Most of the time we'll see you on Saturday. Like you're so dedicated to the training here. Now you're actually leading, which is incredible. I think this is the first ever Northern Ireland champion leading, and the only Northern Ireland champion, the inaugural Northern Ireland champion, John McCann, leading NIPW. This is what you always should have done. You were the first trainee there, and now you get to go there leading the whole company, leading Northern Ireland's #1 pro wrestling promotion. How does that feel?
It feels like everything that I've put into this has finally amounted to something big. I have wanted to win a world heavyweight championship and be the man so long. For my career, most of it has been seeing people be the man, and now to be the guy at the top, the very tip of the mountain. I feel not only lucky, but also I feel like I've put the effort in and I'm seeing the results.
Absolutely, and like even now, you're doing something amazing. Carrying this company. Like obviously, there's more people there, but obviously the champion's the one who carries it the most. And now you've been able to have matches with the likes of Michael May and Jordy Boy, putting on some of the greatest matches in Northern Ireland wrestling, and being able to take that championship. And that's not the only accomplishment you've had in 2025 and 2026. You've been awarded the Marty Jones. You like to remind people of this, obviously, when you get into the ring, but you've been awarded the Marty Jones Certificate of Excellence, two-time SIW Academy champion, the last ever Resolution Heavyweight champion, and the current Northern Ireland champion. Them accolades are something that most people don't get in a lifetime, and you've achieved that in the space of 2 years, I think, or even a year, which I think is incredible. So now you're carrying a full company, NIPW. You're carrying Northern Ireland's #1 pro wrestling promotion, and I just think that's
Yeah.
incredible, especially at the age of 19.
It is insane. There is a lot of pressure in it, and I won't lie about that, but I know that I can live up to the pressure and the expectations that people had set for me. From day one, I had an expectation, and I knocked it out of the ballpark. Like you said, you had an expectation for me, and I knocked it out of the ballpark. And now I'm doing that for so many different places. I am not doing that for OTT. I'm doing that for the WWE. I am doing it for Titanic Wrestling. You put me in a ring, I will show you why I should stay there.
Absolutely. Like I even forgot to mention this. I just mentioned NIPW there. Like that's just NIPW in
Yeah.
Titanic Wrestling. You've main evented Titanic Wrestling, wrestled for the Titanic Wrestling Championship. You've main evented OTT shows in Europa against Charlie Sterling for the OTT European Championship, and
Yep.
now you can even say that you're on WWE SmackDown. This is accolades guys at the age of 60 can't even say that they've done, and you've done it at just the age of 19, which I think is incredible. So so now I'm going to ask you, as we're coming to the end of the podcast here, I wanted this one to be a sort of a shorter one because we're talking more about the future of John McCann instead of a full deep dive. We're just kind of more talking about what you're doing now. So what's next for the Irish grappler, John McCann?
Well, Keaton, you see that stunt that was put last night. The new generation tried to take out the old generation, tried to remove the pillars of NIPW and put their own structure up. I'm not having it anymore. Next show, you'll see exactly where I aim to go, who I aim to take on from that group. And when I'm done with that, no fun done, I want a match with you. Because I've seen you on your retirement tour and I'm ready to have that match with you again. You were the champion that I needed to beat, and I didn't beat you. But now I'm the champion that you need to beat. So come get this title.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. John McCann wants a match from No Fun Done. Make sure to stay tuned for this. Like and subscribe. Make sure to stay tuned for all this stuff. But there's a big coincidence here. Normally, I would kind of bring you out when I'm announcing my next guest, but I want to keep you in here, John, because it's such a coincidence that my next guest will be No Fun Done for his final year of professional wrestling, Sunday the 8th of February at 7 p.m. UK time. Now, this is crazy. John, you've just announced here that you want to go in the ring with No Fun Done. We're going to hear exactly from No Fun Done from No Fun Done in a few weeks, just on what's going to happen here, on what's happening, and if if No Fun Done wants to answer your challenge after 20 years of loyal service for his final retirement match. I think a lot of people will want to see this. So tell me if you want to see this. So this is incredible. You've just challenged out No Fun Done, and we're going to hear from on Kayfabe with Keaton, so make sure to stay tuned for that.
Well, Keaton, you do me one favour, if you can do me for one. Keaton, you tell him, whatever way you want to tell him, that I want him in NIPW, in this ring for that championship. Bring it.
Well, you've heard it here first. And John McCann, No Fun Done, a former Resolution heavyweight champion. You never know, he could win it back this time. Probably hopes to win it back one more time for his retirement year, going all around the globe. And now we're going to hear from No Fun Done. This is absolutely incredible. Cannot believe this. Well, John, big shout out to you. You've had such an amazing career in for just so long. I mean, just for such short time. You've been able to be on WWE, and just in the space of 2 years, you've held so many different belts, which I think is incredible. So, John, thank you so much for coming on here, and even just hearing some of your words of wisdom for this short time.
Absolutely. No problem. Anytime, Keaton. Give me a call as soon as that dumbass gives me a call back. Lets me know if he wants to step in the ring with the grappler. You let me know.
No problem. Thank you. So we heard it here first from John McCann that he's just laid out a challenge to No Fun Done. I cannot believe this. Now, if you want to see this one with No Fun Done, make sure to stay tuned for it, because this is going to be absolutely crazy, as we're going to hear from No Fun Done on Sunday, the 8th of February at 7 p.m. UK time. Make sure to stay tuned for it and be updated. Don't forget to like and subscribe for that. Now, you can also follow John McCann on his social media. Stay tuned with the best Northern Irish wrestler there is right now. So you can follow I think you can follow John McCann at John McWrestler on Facebook. Then you can follow him on Instagram at Irish Grappler. Then you can also stay tuned to see John McCann in the ring. You can get your tickets for NIPW shows. Make sure to look at our Facebook, and you can also stay updated with the tickets on NIPW fans group. But yeah, you can get your tickets at nipw.sumupstore.com. So yeah, make sure not to miss out on tickets or anything like that to see the future of wrestling on NIPW. So thanks very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you for the next one with No Fun Done. Bye for now.